everyone, and thank you for attending.
No.
So relaxing. Sound dive, dive, dive.
Yeah, we're supposed to stand on that.
He's thinking.
Bugler.
Oh. Come on, back.
Oh. Rise. National anthem will be sung by Matt Altman from American Legion Post 129.
You've never heard him sing. It was so nice.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Post colors. Two. Invocation will be by Brian Hatcher, Post 129 Chaplain for 5th District, Department of Florida. Please uncover.
And Heavenly Father, we're gathered here this morning to remember our friends and our comrades who gave their lives and made the ultimate sacrifice for peace. And our world is not at peace right now, Lord, and we just ask that you bring that peace back to us, Lord, and hasten it. And for those of us that can place names and faces to this holiday, Lord, I ask you to be with them in a special way and help us to honor them and honor their memories, Lord, and help us to remember that this is not our day, this is their day. The ones who gave their lives for the cause of freedom. In your holy name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
And recover.
Please be seated. Welcome to the Memorial Day services here at Beaches Veterans Memorial Park. My name is Joe Michael. I'm the commander of American Legion Post 129 at Jacksonville Beach. I want to thank everybody for showing up. I want to make recognize one person at this time. Last sign honoree put up in, was it Atlantic Beach, Lenny? Jack Beach. His name was Ricky Loosh. And we have the honor of having his sister here with us this morning, Valerie. Valerie, would you stand up? Thank you, and thank your family for their service. It's a little bit warm today, so we're going to be over here as fast as we can, as quick as we can. So at this time, I'm going to turn it over to Clarence Hill for the introduction of guests.
Since I don't know the guests, I'm turning it over to the mayors to introduce their dignitaries here today. So, Mayor Glasser.
Thanks, Clarence, a lot. I recognize Candace Kelly, a commissioner in Atlantic Beach, and I don't think there's anyone else here, so thank you very much.
All right. Okay, Mayor Brown, Neptune Beach.
Good morning.
Good morning.
What an honor to be here with each and every one of you. I have not seen any of my council members, but certainly from the city of Neptune Beach, we thank you. We're honored to be here with you, and we appreciate everyone in this day. And for those who gave their lives, we are especially grateful.
And Mayor Hoffman is out of town, so we have Council Member Georgette Dumont for Jacks Beach.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here on this great day. I only see Miss Councilmember Sandy Golding. Stand up. Thank you. And if somebody's out there and I don't see you, that's on council with me, raise your hand. Okay. Well, thank you again.
Now introduce our guest speaker. His bio is on the back page, and I encourage you to read it. I was going to attempt to read some highlights from the service in and out of uniform, but found that the entire bio is probably as succinct a bio as can be published, so I will not do that. He currently serves as Outreach Director for the Stephen A. Cohen Military Family Clinic in Centerstone in Jacksonville. His military career included 9 years of service with the Marine Corps and 27 years in the Army National Guard, where he ultimately retired as a Brigadier General. We do share one thing, have one thing in common, in that we are both recipients of the Rear Admiral Kevin Delaney Jacksonville Chamber of Commerce Military Hall of Fame Award. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm welcome to Brigadier General Michael Fleming.
No.
Thank you for that kind introduction. I've been here. This is really an important area for me. My dad actually was stationed in the 50s at Mayport and ended up meeting my mom and staying here. So I was born and raised here in Jacksonville. So my dad, as I said, was a sailor. I never could figure out why I joined the Marine Corps, but that's a longer story. We don't have time for that. But thank you so much for being out here today. I'm honored to speak at this Memorial Day ceremony. We're here today to honor our heroes, to remember their achievements, their courage, and their dedication, and to thank them for their sacrifices. Many of the heroes are in this group here today, and I can see many veterans here today. And those who are here only in spirit, a person can't help feel but awed by the enormity of what we encounter. We stand in the midst of patriots and the families and friends of those who have nobly served. Our gathering is one small spark in the flame of pride that burns across our nation every day. On this Memorial Day, as on other days in the past, we call to mind the contributions of the millions of men and women who have served in our nation's armed forces. It is a day to transmit to those who will come after us the tradition of honoring those who died in service to our country. Why do these gallant Americans have to die? Children often ask that question. Who are these young men and women? How did they die? As Americans, we learn the answers to these and other questions from our parents, teachers, and others. But the answers take on special meaning for those who have lost dear friends during wartime. Yes, these soldiers, Marines, sailors, airmen, and Coast Guardsmen who have served us made the ultimate sacrifice. They were sons, daughters, husbands, wives, friends, neighbors, Native Americans, African Americans, every type of American.
Every one of them was related to somebody. In important ways, they're all related to us today. The idea for Memorial Day, originally called Decoration Day, arose from the ashes of the Civil War. Following the Civil War, at least 620,000 Americans, both Union and Confederate, have been killed and hundreds of thousands more were maimed. Through the course of the war, Americans had blasted at each other's lines with cannons and burned cities and towns on our own soil. Homes and schools from Antietam to Vicksburg were riddled with bullet holes and unprecedented damage. The carnage and destruction was on a scale not even imaginable a few years before, and it changed America's view of war forever. Although there are different versions of how Memorial Day began, one story goes that the grieving families, both northern and southern, began to decorate the graves of lost soldiers with flowers and wreaths. One city in Mississippi decorated both the graves of Confederate and Union soldiers, hoping someone in the North would do the same respects for their family members. These informal honors led to the first Memorial Day observance in Waterloo, New York on May 5th, 1866. Congress officially recognized Memorial Day as a federal holiday in 1887. Since then, in each passing year and subsequent conflicts, we've honored our troops by this types of ceremonies. We have awarded medals to many service members, added their names to monuments and named buildings for them, to honor them for their bravery. But nothing can ever replace the hole left behind by a fallen service member, and no number of medals or ribbons can comfort the ones left behind. There's no greater compliment to a patriot than to be called a soldier, a Marine, a sailor, airman, or Coast Guardsman. It has been said it's the soldier, not the reporter, who has given us freedom of the press. It is the soldier, not the poet, who has given us freedom of speech. It is the soldier, not the campus organizer, who has given us the freedom to demonstrate. It is the soldier who salutes the flag, who serves beneath the flag, and his coffin is covered by the flag, who allows a protester to burn the flag. We owe an unending debt of gratitude for the sacrifice our veterans have made, the pain they have endured, and the hardships they suffered to ensure our country's flame of freedom would never be extinguished. People talk today of heroes, an athlete who scores a winning touchdown, an Olympic gold medal winner, a popular actor. While they may do heroic deeds within the context of their sport or trade, they are not heroes, for they do not risk themselves. Heroes are those who risk their lives so others do not have to risk theirs. When the prophet Isaiah was asked by the Lord, "Whom shall I send who will go for us?" Isaiah replied, "Here I am, send me." Whenever our nation is called, we've been so blessed by men and women who have answered, "Here I am, send me." Our nation depends on committed professional military warriors to do their duty. President Ronald Reagan said it best. He said, "No arsenal or no weapon in the arsenals of the world is so powerful as the will and moral courage of free men and women. It is a weapon our adversary in today's world do not have. It is a weapon that we as Americans do have." Where do these great warriors come from? These patriots all come from American families. It takes a unique American family to raise a soldier, a Marine, a sailor, an airman, a Coast Guardman. This family must instill in their son or daughter a love of country, a love of their fellow man, or the child will never join the military. A family must believe in a cause bigger than their own, or they would never let their child join the military. I salute the American families who have raised a soldier, Marine, sailor, airman, or Coast Guardsman. Our nation cannot survive without such families. 2 days ago, I saw such a family. Many of you may have seen Staff Sergeant Seth Plant, who was a soldier from St. Augustine. He died by a bear attacking him when I was in patrol in Alaska. I saw the pain 2 days ago at the ceremony in St. Augustine. My son had been in school with Seth in St. Augustine, and the pain on that family's face told me everything. So we talk quite often about Memorial Day, as we rightly should, about the soldiers and all the warriors we've lost during wartime. But everything we do with the military and the training that we do is very difficult. And Staff Sergeant Plant's death reminds all of us that even today, if we're not at war, our military members are willing to serve and sacrifice for us. Our forefathers knew that for our nation to endure, we must be committed not only to our freedom, but to the freedom of all. We do not have a perfect history, but our commitment to freedom has never wavered. How have we ensured freedom for more than 2 centuries? Great American leaders have worked in their homes, communities, and throughout our land for freedom. But I would argue that those called to serve in the military have done the most to ensure we remain free. What do we owe those who have fallen in the line of duty? First, we should honor them and their families. This ceremony is evidence of the total commitment of the Northeast Florida community to honor our fallen warriors. We must never forget their sacrifice. We owe these fallen warriors support to continue their legacy through today's warriors. George Washington said, "The willingness with which young people are likely to serve in any way, no matter how justified, shall be directly proportional as to how they perceive the veterans of earlier wars were treated and appreciated by their nation." His words ring true today as each of us must individually as a nation continue to support our today's warriors and their families. How can each one of us continue this legacy? During my time as the Assistant Adjutant General for the Florida Army National Guard, we deployed well over 10,000 soldiers. Our unit served honorably and professionally in combat, and I'm very proud of our record of service. However, with this service came sacrifice. Soldiers such as Jeffrey Warshow, Darrell Davis, and Robert Wise gave everything for their country. As one who was fortunate to serve as a general officer, I believe I have an obligation to continue to honor the memories of these soldiers. Sergeant Wise's mother gave me a bracelet 15 years ago, and I still wear it today. It's an honor to continue to remind me that each day I remain a soldier and a Marine, and I should continue to serve. My wife quite often asks me how long I'm going to wear this bracelet. I told her as long as I'm living, I'm going to continue to wear this bracelet because it's important to continue a legacy. But each one of us can do things differently. Each one of us can provide a legacy and continue to talk about the sacrifices. First, we must teach others about the sacrifices that have been made on our behalf so that we might continue the liberties and freedoms granted in our Constitution. We must help future generations understand that by committing yourself to your country and being willing to fight for the freedom of others is among the most noble of endeavors. My pastor defined compassion as the emotional response to the needs of others that causes us to take action. I know that each of you has compassion for veterans and military families, so I ask you to think about what action you are taking to honor those who served us. You can do this by volunteering to help veterans in different organizations. We have great organizations here, as you heard, the Stephen A. Cohen Military Family Clinic in Centerstone, Operation The Uniform, Canines for Warriors, and Wounded Warrior Project. They're all here. But let me challenge you with a specific action that I'd like you to think about taking. The Fire Watch is Northeast Florida's commitment to end veteran suicide in our area. Unfortunately, the suicide rate for veterans is much higher than that of non-veterans in Florida and across our nation. I have the honor of being the Fire Watch chair, and the way we are attacking this is we're trying to engage the 90%. Oh, less than 10% of our nation have ever served in the military. So that means we have 90% of those, our population, have never served in the military, but want to help, want to see what they can do. We started something called a Watchstander program. It takes 45 minutes to learn about what veterans are facing and military families are facing. You can stand in the gap for veterans by becoming a Watchstander. It's at thefirewatch.org. But like I talked about, it's great to have empathy for veterans and military families and currently serving families. But think to yourself, what are you doing to honor them? I challenge each of us to gather together, not only this special day, but throughout the year to see what we can do for warriors. Make this day an annual reminder of the need to give of yourself to honor those who gave everything. Treat Memorial Day with reverence and respect, and others will follow your lead. I'd like to close with my favorite quote, because it talks about the fact that men and women who serve in the military are in the arena. Some of you may be familiar with it. It's Teddy Roosevelt's quote, "The man in the arena." He said, "It's not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbled, or where their doer deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man and woman who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming, but who actually does strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who know neither victory nor defeat. The men and women who serve us are the men and women in the arena. Additionally, military families are also in the arena. Thank you for being here today to celebrate the lives and legacies of those we have lost but never forgotten, and always, always revered.
We'll now move to laying of the wreaths. Those who have a wreath, please proceed to your wreath, and I will call you. You'll come across to the front. We'll exchange the salute, and then place your wreaths across the front of the stage here. So if you would all man your wreaths now. And if I don't call you, then let me know that. Okay, we'll start with our host post, American Legion Post 129. Okay, so we have American Legion Post 129, American Legion Auxiliary Unit 129, American Legion Riders Chapter 129, and Sons of the American Legion Squadron 129. American Legion Post 316 and Auxiliary Unit 316. Veterans of Foreign Wars, Post 3270. And the Auxiliary of Post 3270. Reserve Branch 290. Along with their auxiliary. nominate Voyager 215 and Command 215. U.S. Submarine Veterans First Coast Base.
Get over it.
Come here. He smells my dog.
Mayport Navy League Council over there. Daughters of the American Revolution, Jean Ribaud chapter. Daughters of the American Revolution, Jacksonville chapter. Due to the sun's out, breathe. These are our reefs and the organizations that presented them. Their mission was noble: evacuate desperate civilians yearning to escape a brutal regime. The 13 U.S. service members who died during a terrorist bombing in Afghanistan last August will not be the last American heroes to make such a sacrifice, but they represent the best of a generation. Not only are these diverse men and women forever in our hearts, but for those who knew them, they are forever young. They came from every background, yet they shared a common goal: to serve America and make life better for others. From the American Revolution to the global war on terrorism, more than 1 million American veterans have made the supreme sacrifice. They died so that we could continue to cherish the things they love: God, country, and family. That is why we are gathered here on Memorial Day, to honor the memory of our fallen warriors who have given everything for their country. We are also reminded on this day that brave men and women always step forward to take their oath of allegiance as members of America's armed forces, willing to fight and, if necessary, die for the sake of freedom. In reflecting on the sacrifices of our comrades during World War I, there are 4 common pillars as to why Americans are so often answer their nation's call, even to the point of sacrificing their lives. They do it to provide a strong national defense, to keep America safe and secure against those enemies who would destroy our American way of life. They do it for their fellow comrades, for those fighting by their side against all odds, and for those who eventually separate from the military but proudly claim their status as veterans. They do it for American core values of God and country, family, patriotism, and our freedom to worship as we please. And they do it for their children, so that they can grow up in an America that is strong and free. It's through this last pillar, our children, that we must continue to honor the spirit of these heroes. We must share the legacies and tell the stories of those who are no longer here. Nearly 7,000 American men and women have died while fighting the global war on terrorism. Many were parents. The loss felt by Gold Star families is forever. There are many tangible things we can do to honor the service of our fallen. First and foremost is to take care of their loved ones. In some cases, this means providing financial assistance to help their children obtain higher education. It is why we wear the poppy, a symbol of hope that sprouted on a Belgian battlefield. Memorial Day is not about picnics and parades, though there is nothing wrong with enjoying and celebrating our American way of life. Memorial Day is about the gratitude and remembrance. It is about honoring the men and women who made it possible for us to gather here today in peace. It is to remember those who made our way of life possible. They truly are the guardians of our freedom. Please rise and remain standing for the rest of the service. The benediction will again be given by District Chaplain Brian Henry.
Please uncover. And before I give the benediction, I'd like to offer a brief confession. I celebrated Memorial Day last night with a friend of mine. I was in Army SF, and my friend Chris, not his real name, was on SEAL Team 2. And I'm not going to tell y'all how an Army SF guy and a guy from SEAL Team 2 became friends, but we remembered him by name last night. Raised the glass, probably one time too many. But anyway, Heavenly Father, as we stand with our heads bowed in reverence to you and in remembrance of our friends, you know, the only prayer that I can ask of you now, Lord, is that you help us to become the kinds of Americans and the kind of country that is worthy of their sacrifice, Lord. And that's about all I can pray for on this Memorial Day. And I pray these things in your holy name. Amen.
Honor Guard, take charge and conduct the rifle salute and taps. And salute.
Left, right, right.
And salute.
Safety, shoot. Ready. Aim. Fire. Aim. Fire. Aim. Fire. Safety, shoot. Left, right, right. Freeze it. Up.
Sound retreat, retire the colors. Ready, two. There are refreshments refreshments available at post 316 next door if you desire to get out of the heat for a couple minutes before you leave, maybe dry off. This concludes our ceremony. Surface, surface, surface.